in this particular video we're going to be looking at the foundation tier and it's paper 3 from Edexcel. The whole idea is that we'll work through all the different questions. If you print the paper off by following the link in the description below, you'll be able to have a go and then compare your solutions. So I'm going to aim for this particular video to be about between 20 and 30 minutes long, so it should give you about an hour's worth of revision. Okay, let's move on to question 1. So question 1 deals with showing the lengths of 5 rivers, and it asks us to write down the rivers in order of length, starting with the shortest. Okay, well, it's just a case of reading the information from the chart here. So the Don is going to be at 112 kilometres, and then we're followed by the Mersey, then we're followed by the Trent, then the Thames, which is this one here, Thames, and then finally the longest river is going to be the Severn. Okay, hope that's all right for you. Let's move on then to question B, or part B of the same question, and it says, Amy says the River Thames is more than 3 times as long as the River Don. Okay, well, in order for that to be true, what we need to do is work out the length of the River Don times 3. So if we look at the Don, okay, at the moment we're saying it's 112 kilometres, and you get that information from the chart. Then if we multiply that by 3, now however you do this, I would use this kind of calculation, but it doesn't really matter if you partition it or you add it up 3 times or you do a slightly different calculation. That's absolutely fine. But what we're basically saying is if the Thames is 346 kilometres in length and the Don is 336 kilometres in length, then that is correct. Okay, the Thames is more than three times as long as the River Don. Okay, hope that's all right. Let's move on then to question number 2. And question number 2, we've got cups are sold in packs and boxes. There are 12 cups in each pack, and there are 18 cups in each box. And we are asked to write an expression in terms of P and B for the total number of cups that Alison buys. Okay, well, essentially we're looking at saying the total. Okay, so if there's 12 cups in a pack, then that's going to be 12 times P, okay? And then if she's going to buy cups, then she might well have boxes of them, so that's going to be plus 18 B. Okay, so that would be the answer to this particular question. Okay, then on to question number 3. It says here are 4 digits, and write down the smallest possible 2-digit number that can be made with 2 of the digits. Well, the smallest number that I could find is one that has 1 and a 5, so that's going to be 15. Okay, next little bit is write down the 3-digit number closest to 200 that can be made with 3 of the digits. Well, again, I think I can use the 1, and then I would write 196, and that's as close to 200 as I can make it. Okay, let's move on then to question number 4. And question number 4 is a fraction question. Becoming quite popular, really. It's useful to do fraction questions and practice them. So it says 4/5 of a number is 32. Find the number. What we're saying is that 4 out of the number divided into fifths. So we've got 4/5 equal 32. Okay, well, if we know that 4/5 equal 32, we can write out 1/5 is the same as 32 divided by 4, which equals 8. So 1/5 of the number is actually 8. And therefore, if we want to find the whole number, we would find 5/5, which equals 5 times 8, which is 40. So therefore, the number must be 40. Okay, hope that's all right. Let's move on to question number 5. And it says, a path is made of white tiles and grey tiles. So we've got white tiles and grey tiles, okay, and it says a quarter of the tiles are white. Well, what that basically means is that there are 4 tiles in total, and one of the tiles is white out of the 4, so therefore the ratio must be 1 to 3. Okay, be very careful with that one. I can see why some people would put 3/4, and that absolutely is true, but if you're going to write it down as a ratio, then it would be 1 to 3. Okay, part B, it says there's a total of 56 tiles. Work out the number of grey tiles. Okay, well, if we're saying that 3/4 of the tiles are grey, then it follows that 3/4 of 56 tiles are actually grey tiles. So if I want to work out that, then what I would do is I do it a couple of different ways really, but this is perhaps the easiest way, is I do 3 times 56, which is going to be 168, and that's then divided by 4. And if you like, I could write 4 times 1, so 4 underneath there, 168 divided by 4. Well, what I would do with that is I would do something like 4 into 168, and that's going to be 42. But bearing in mind this is a calculator paper, so if you just use your calculator to work out something like that, you'll get 42 as the answer. So the number of grey tiles out of a total of 56 would be 42, which is 3/4 of, remember in maths, of means multiply, of 56. Okay, hope that's all right. Let's move on then to question number 6. Okay, so in question number 6, we've got a list of numbers. And Bridget says to work out the median, you find the middle number. So the middle number of these numbers is 17. Bridget's answer is not correct. What's wrong with Bridget's method? Okay, well, she's got the right idea. However, the numbers need to be written in order. So the numbers need to be written in order, and it's fairly traditional to write them smallest to largest. Okay, that's fine. All right, well, I'm going to do that in order to answer the next question, because it's asking me to work out the range of the numbers in the list. So I've got, in order, I've got 12, and then I've got 13, 14, and 15. And then I've got 17, 19, and 22. And actually, had the question asked you to work out the median, you can see here the middle number is 15, so the median would actually be 15. However, we're being asked to work out the range. Well, the range is the biggest number, which is 22, take away the smallest number, which is 12. So that's going to give me a range of 10. Okay, so the range of numbers is going to be 10. And then it says, finally, work out the mean or the average of the numbers on the list. Well, I always write down the formula. So mean equals total divided by number. Okay, what we mean by that is that the total is all of these numbers added together. And if you work that out, you're going to get a total of, oh, it's actually on my calculator, but you're going to get a total of 12 plus 13 plus 14 plus 15 plus 17 plus 19 plus 22, and then you're going to divide it by the number of numbers. Well, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers. So if we divide all of that by 7, we're going to get a mean of 16. Okay, hope that's fine for you and you're okay with that sort of formula. If you're not sure about anything, please do have a look at some of the playlists on the channel, or add a comment below. I'll always come back to you. Okay, let's move on then to question number 7. And in question number 7, it says that Preeti is going to have a meal and she can choose one starter and one main course from the menu. Write down all the possible combinations. Well, I think with this sort of thing, really, you need to be just as methodical as you possibly can. So I'm going to start with a starter of salad. Okay, so she can choose one starter, which she's chosen, and then one main course. So I would do salad and pasta, salad and rice, salad and a burger. Okay, so that's dealt with her choosing salad as the starter. Okay, let's have a look at when she chooses fish as the starter. So again, she chooses fish, and she can choose fish pasta. Sounds nice. Fish rice and a fish burger. Okay, that's fine with that one. And then finally, if she chooses melon as a starter, again, she can have melon pasta, which sounds awful. Pasta, okay. She can choose melon rice and melon burger. Okay, so I think with those sorts of questions, do find a way, if you can, with just being as methodical as you possibly can to make sure that you cover all of the marks available. Okay, so Joanne wants to buy a dishwasher. Dishwasher costs that. She'll pay a deposit of that. She'll then pay the rest of the cost in four equal monthly payments. How much is each monthly payment? Well, let's have a look at the cost of the dishwasher. So it's going to be £372. And then she pays a deposit of £36. That's minus 36. So she's actually got left £336 to pay. And then what they're saying is that if she then pays that over 4 equal monthly payments, it's going to be the same as 336 divided by 4, which equals 84. Okay, so she's actually going to pay £84 per month. All right, let's move on then to question number 9. Now, actually, I think question number 9 is a little bit challenging in places because you've got to be a little bit careful with this one. So it says Davos is a cleaner, or Davos is a cleaner, and we're given information about the time it'll take to clean each of 4 rooms in a house. Okay, so, and then it says he wants to clean all 4 rooms in one day. He'll have a break for a total time of 75 minutes. He's going to start cleaning at 9. Will he finish cleaning by 4 o'clock? Okay, well, I think probably the easiest way of dealing with this, and you know, I think there's a number of different ways. You can either sort of start at 9, so you can say 9 until 11 o'clock, and then you can kind of go from there. Well, I'm actually going to write this on a timeline just because I find it easier for me personally to kind of visualize all of this. So in a timeline, what we're saying is he starts at 9 and then he works for 2 hours in the kitchen. Okay, so starts at 9. He works for 2 hours in the kitchen. Okay, and then he's going to work for another hour and 40 minutes. So from 11, 1 hour and 40 minutes, well, that's going to be 12:40, and he's working, in that case, in the sitting room. Okay, well, our friend Davos has worked really hard, so he's actually now going to take a break of 1 hour and a quarter, because that's the same as 75 minutes. Just be a little bit careful. Everything else is being written in hours. So to work this out, if you write 75, how many lots of 60 there are in 75, what we get is 1 lot of 60 and then 15 minutes. Well, 15 minutes out of 60, if you like 15 out of 60, is exactly the same as saying 1 hour and a quarter, or 1 hour and 15 minutes. Okay, so hopefully that's all right for you. Just be very careful with these sorts of questions where they're throwing different units at you. Okay, so he's going to take a break and it's going to be 1 hour and 15 minutes. Well, 1 hour break would be 1 12:40 p.m. Okay, so it's gone to the afternoon. Well, it's not just 1 hour, it's 1 hour and 15 minutes. So we've got to add another 15 minutes onto that. So that's going to take him to 1 hour 55 or 1:55 p.m. Okay, so he's finished his break. And then what he's going to do is he's going to go and clean the bedroom, which is 1 hour and 30 minutes. Okay, well, again, I'm going to use the same idea. If I do 1 hour, that's going to take him to 2:55 in the afternoon. So this is the bedroom. Okay, but that's 1 hour. Actually, we need 1 hour and 30 minutes, so that's actually going to take him to 3:25. So this is the bedroom. Okay, and then finally, he's got another 45 minutes or 3/4 of an hour to actually do in the bathroom. Okay, so we've got 3:25 here. We're going to then take it for another 45 minutes, and that's going to take it to 4:10, and that's the bathroom. Okay, so will he finish cleaning by 4 o'clock? No, he won't. Fairly close, but no, he'll finish at 4:10. Okay, now you might do it slightly differently, as I mentioned, but I just think sometimes with a timeline with these sorts of questions, it means you can break everything down into bite-sized pieces and make it just a little bit easier for you. Okay, let's move on then to question number 10. And question number 10 deals with a straight line that's been broken up into pieces. And what it's basically saying is that this length is 5 times the length of BC. Well, if it's 5 times the length of BC, it means A to B is 5 and B to C is 1. Okay, so in other words, what we're saying is that if we have A to B and B to C, we've got 5 to 1. So if this particular line was 6 centimetres in length, then this would be 1 centimetre and this would be 5 centimetres, okay? However, it's not. What we're told is actually it's 90 centimetres in length. In other words, it's 15 times bigger. Okay, well, if it's 15 times bigger, then basically we'd use that for all of the measurements. So we multiply that by 15, and that makes 15 centimetres, and we multiply that by 15, and that makes 75 centimetres. Okay, so the length AB, rather than it being a 6 centimetre line, it's a 90 centimetre line. Therefore, the length AB is going to be 75 centimetres. Okay, so how are we doing for time? We're about 17 minutes into the video. I'm just going to work a little bit longer through this, and let's have a look at question number 11. Okay, question number 11, we've got work out the value of t when v equals 2. All right, well, we're saying that t equals 4 times v. This 4v means 4 times v. And if v is 2, then we can write 4 times 2 plus 3, which is this plus 3 at the end. Okay, well, that's going to mean t is 4 times 2 is 8 plus 3, so therefore t is 11. Okay, and then the part B of that particular question, it says make v the subject of the formula. Okay, I'd say these always come up. So you need to get to grips with changing the subject. They do vary in difficulty. This particular one, what we're basically saying is that we've got t equals 4v plus 3. What I'm going to do is I need to get the term containing the v on one side and everything else on the other. So what I'm going to do is I would minus 3. So that means that and that cancel themselves out. But however, I need to balance things up. So I need to minus 3 on the left-hand side as well. So I can write that as t minus 3 equals 4v. Now this means that I've got 4 lots of v. So if I want to make 1 lot of v, I divide by 4. Because that and that means then I just get 1 lot of v, which is what I'm looking for. However, I've also got to divide the left-hand side by 4, so this becomes t minus 3 divided by 4. Now, just a word on this. This is correct, it would be incorrect to write t minus 3 divided by 4. Okay, because we use something called BIDMAS, don't we? So if we did that, what it would mean then is that that would be saying 3 divided by 4, which is 3/4, taking away from t. What this means is that t and minus 3 are divided by 4. You could write this, okay? It's just not what we normally do. Normally we'd write this straight as t minus 3 divided by 4. And you can put the v on the left-hand side if it just makes it a little bit easier to read. Okay, so let's move on then to question number 12. And I'll probably make question number 12 the last one on this, depending on how much time we have available. And it says, the diagram shows a cube of length 2. The volume of any solid made with 6 of these cubes is 48. Is Vera correct? Well, yeah, she is correct, because if we work out the volume of 1 cube, so I would try to encourage you always to write the full formula, area times depth for volume. So what we're basically saying is the volume is the area, which is the area of this face, 2 times 2, times the depth, which is also 2. Okay, so if I work all of that out, that's going to be 8 centimeters cubed. Okay, so the volume of any solid made with 6 of these cubes, therefore this is 1 cube, so 6 cubes would equal 8 times 6, which equals 48 centimeters cubed. So yes, she is correct. Okay, let's move on then to part B of this. Now, I think with this, it's very tempting to draw a cube a cuboid. They're asking us to draw a cuboid, which is just a rectangular prism. It's just like a box that can be made with 6 of these cubes. It's kind of tempting to draw something really fancy, but I think in this particular case, all I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my 1 cube, and then basically I'm just going to put 6 of them side by side. So if I do that, oops, what I can do is draw, this is probably about the worst drawing I've ever done. I'm tempted to do it again, but hopefully you'll get the idea. So I've got 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, so I've got 5 of them and 6 of them. Okay, so I've just basically drawn that as one long kind of caterpillar shape. Okay, and it says write the dimensions of the cuboid on your diagram. Well, if I've got 6 of them here, I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So that's going to be 12 centimeters. Okay, now the height and the depth is going to remain exactly the same. So I can write this here as 2 centimeters, and I can write this along here as also 2 centimeters. Okay, it's not the world's greatest drawing. I'm really sorry, I made a mistake at the back here and this line here, but hopefully you'll get the idea. Okay, because the reason I've done it like that is because the part B of the question is work out the surface area of your cuboid. So I've tried to make it kind of nice and easy for myself, really. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the bottom of this particular cuboid as a long thin piece like that, okay, and then the 2 sides are the 2 sides that come out like that. So what I'm going to do, if you remember back from your primary school days, I'm going to draw a net. So what I can say then is if I draw this net, when I fold it all up, what I've got then is the full surface area. And because I've drawn it as a relatively simple shape and this sort of cubic caterpillar type thing along here, it just means I can fill in the dimensions fairly easily. Okay, so if we look at each of these surfaces, then I've got 12 times 2, So 12 times 2 for this one is 24, this one is 24, this one's 24, and this one is 24, okay? So all of those are exactly the same, long, thin sort of shapes. And then I've got 2 times 2 is 4, and 2 times 2 is 4 either side, okay? So if I then work out that and add all of those surface areas together, I should get 104 centimetres squared. Okay, so that's 24 minutes into the particular video. I think what we'll do is we'll stop there and we'll carry on in the second part of the playlist from question 13 onwards. I hope it's been useful. If you're not sure about anything, please do add a comment below. I'll always come back to you, and I look forward to seeing you inside the next video.